Alright. See? Is this working? Sweet. Alright, how many people we got? Oh, 4. Yes. A whopping 4. I will wait a couple minutes. Who we all got watching right now? Or right meow. Probably should have set up my laptop for this. If only I knew where it was. Well, that's not good. Makes things easier. Um... Oh, my laptop charger's right here. You think it would be pretty damn close by. You would think so. Huh. Alright, well, it was right next to me all along, so great. Get this thing fired up. So, load up the YouTube video, and then we will be ready to go. I was hoping a good 10 to 15 people would be watching this. We will see. Otherwise, it's just going to be a pain in the ass. But I got nothing better to do on a, what is it, Monday? Or is it Tuesday? Monday night, Tuesday night. Just wait another minute or two here, and then we will start. If you guys want, you can listen to me eat crackers for another minute. It's always entertaining. God, I fucking hate that Cortana bullshit for Windows. That's a real bitch. All right. All right, perfect. Here we go. We're just going to give it another 30 to 45 seconds, and then we will be all set to go. Okay. Let's go ahead and repost it. Man, I am tired as shit. Okay, I guess welcome into the Madden 19 Team Reveal Show. I got 11 pages of shit here, so we're gonna fly through this real quick. I wish I was eating some crackers. I wish I was. They sound good as fuck right now. So I guess for the new users watching us here, kind of recapping the year. Season 1, so actually so far, all 4 Super Bowls have been won by the AFC. Season 1 we had Shokan when he was the Jaguars. Season 2 and 3 was Kia and the Jets. Last season was Wheezy and the Texans. So, I guess a good balance of, what do we call it, users that won. All in the AFC, but yeah. That's really all the recap. Most of us have been here the whole time. I guess, so how this is going to kind of work, I have my custom roster loaded up that I play on. And this here has got, I tweaked a few ratings. I didn't do a ton for this one. Mainly just made some rookies. So, you got Bills, Josh Allen, you go to Arizona, Rosen. What did I give Mayfield? 76. There we go. So basically, yeah. For the most part, this is kind of how it'll go. Just gonna announce the division, talk about the 4 users quick, who they are, what teams they got. Kind of just talk about how I think they're gonna do next cycle, the fit user to the team, and then I power ranked all the divisions up front. So I guess we'll get into it. The first division we're going to be talking about is the AFC North. So I guess we will start with the Cincinnati Bengals. Right there. So this is going to be iRobster. He's been here about half the cycle, maybe a little less than that, about 2.5 seasons. He's a current Bengals fan, the current Bengals user right now. I was in a league with him in SFDL. He's a good user, so look for him next Madden to be one of those, probably division winner. Could be contending for a wild card. He's a 9, 10, 11, 12 win guy. So, I guess he's probably going to be a perennial playoff contender next cycle. So, this division is actually going to be pretty tough. So it's a good fit for him, obviously. If you're a Bengals fan, you get the Bengals. They're a good fit. Now, the Bengals themselves, their roster took a hit. You have Andy Dalton, who's going to be pretty suspect. He can't really develop. You do have Joe Mixon, though, who's going to be a solid player. You obviously have your John Ross, Cheese, Tyler Eifert, who's a bum, but he's good in Madden. That O-line needs some rework. Billy Price is going to be a fun tool to dev. Same with your, Carl Lawson, Jordan Willis. Those guys are really fast. So, Geno Atkins up front, too. There's some pieces. Preston Brown coming over from Buffalo. William Jackson's going to be probably your cornerstone to build around in the secondary. Darqueze Dennard had a good year. So, they have some pieces. No elite talent. They're not a true rebuild, but they're so-so. So, next one, here, we're going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be under the control of Shiloh Bad. Shiloh, who has been the Titans all season, he is going to be taking over. Now, he's not the greatest user in the world, but he gets better every year. He's improving his team. He's been with us all cycle. And with the Titans team, he's slowly building that team up to his style. Now, this team, he's coming in with Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, who's going to be at least a quick development. Then you have Josh Dobbs or Mason Rudolph to dev as your backup quarterback. You have a good tight end in Jesse James. Vance McDonald's solid. I prefer James. And then, for some reason, they don't like the Steelers Madden-wise. But they had a really good year, so offensive line-wise at least. So I would think their ratings should be a little higher. Otherwise, on the defense, Cameron Hayward and Stephon Tuitt are your bookends and your 3-4. Hargrave is okay at nose. You can probably upgrade there. And then you got Dupree and TJ Watt, where Dupree's a little bad, but he's still young, so you can probably dev him up a bit here. Shazier, his career is most likely done, so it's going to be weird to see how they use him in Madden. You know what, Shiloh? No, you've gotten better every year, buddy. I'm watching. But we'll just see how Shazier is. If they keep him the same overall, he's a stud, but they might really nerf him with that injury. Secondary's okay. 2 really young guys in Mike Hilton and Artie Burns. Hayden's solid, but he really can't dev. Terrell Edmonds, the rookie, Morgan Burnett from Green Bay. So there's some pieces there, absolutely. Next, I guess, would be the Browns, which are going to be held by our great friend from New Orleans, Jared, with the wrongly spelt Jared. He's the Saints the last couple years. And then Pittsburgh, I really like the fit for Shiloh. I think he's going to actually have a pretty solid roster. With Jared, though, you have a good day one quarterback in Tyrod Taylor, but in Madden, you're going to start the rookie for that XP. You have a great stable of running backs in Hyde, Duke Johnson, and Nick Chubb. A good receiving core with Gordon, Coleman, and then Jarvis Landry coming over. A cheese speed tight end in Njoku. Offensive line's taken a little bit of hit because Joe Thomas retired, unfortunately, but so he can't trade him away to get a first-round pick like everyone used to frickin' do. Myles Garrett's a key piece to build around. This team is just going to have so many good young players that they just progress phenomenally because of that. So, yeah, even their kicker and punter is young. Vogel's a one-year pro. Gonzalez is going to be a one-year pro. So they're just cheese all around. I think it's not the best fit for Jared, but he's a huge Mayfield, Oklahoma fan. So he's obviously going to be near the top. It's going to be a really tough division, I think. Now we go to the Ravens. The Ravens user from most of this year, Big Tuna, Tony, he had to step away for just a few months, but he's getting the Ravens. Joe Flacco, Lamar Jackson, I gave him a 90 speed. Could be higher. He's going to be the most cheese player in the game. So you have Lamar Jackson, Alex. I don't like their running backs, and I don't know how in the hell Kenneth Dixon got a quick development, but whatever. Michael Crabtree will help. John Brown as well, but the receiving core is horrible. You have an old-ass tight end who's a rookie, 24. Their O-line's okay. Defense is solid. This is going to be a team where you got to win 20-10 with, 20-17 with. So I think it's a good fit for him since he's a Ravens fan. We'll see. He's probably going to be a 6-10 to 9-7 user year in and year out. So that is the AFC North. I have them as the second best division out of 8. This is going to be a really, especially with Rob and Jared, that's going to be a really tough division. So I guess moving on, we have the AFC West. We'll start off with the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders are going to be ran by Johnny. Johnny is stepping over from... Oh, God, what the hell is he right now? I'm drawing a blank. What are you, Johnny? You're not the Colts. Oh, you're the Jaguars. You are the Jaguars. So, yeah. In most of the year, he's been in 4th and 1 for years past. Joined us again. His kind of quote to me was, "The Raiders are back, just win, baby." So, they have a solid roster. Derek Carr, who can still be progressed. Decent 1-2 tough running punch between Lynch and Martin. You have your speed back in Washington. Receivers are going to be good with Nelson Cooper, Martavis Bryant, Seth Roberts. They traded for Ryan Switzer. Now, he's not going to have a quick dev, but he's still going to be a nice young piece to build around. Offensive line's still good. Now, defense is going to be kind of, the only real piece you have to build around is Khalil Mack. You got, Gary Conley. You can probably build around him. Same with Carl Joseph. But overall, this team surprisingly wasn't requested that much. The Broncos currently do not have a user. So those who are watching who don't have a team, Denver's one of the teams you can potentially take, which is kind of surprising. I'm just going to briefly look at Denver, just top down. Von Miller mixed with Bradley Chubb, huge. Sua Craven's coming over is an underrated guy. He's a guy who can move down to linebacker as a safety because of his weight. You still have Thomas and Sanders, Chris Harris Jr. This is a team where you need a quarterback, but Case Keenum can hold it down for 1, maybe 2 seasons. So That's kind of something to look at there. Um, Anyways, that's all. The Chiefs, Proto is going to be coming back as the Chiefs user. So that's going to be kind of fun to see what he can do. He did a lot of good things with them this year. Pat Mahomes developed nice. Now he has Kareem Hunt, who's going to be a solid player. Sorry, I just got a missed call. But anyways, there we go. You have two good receivers now in Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, an explosive young tight end in Travis Kelce. O-line needs some heavy work. Heavy work. D-line needs some work. You have some good pass rushers, though, and athletic defenders. You're not going to be having Marcus Peters, but in comes Kyle Fuller, David Amerson coming there, and then you have Eric Berry, who's going to be a really good player. So, overall, I think it's a good fit for him. He's going to have another year learning that team, but, he's going to be probably that 8-8 kind of person he was, kind of this year. Chargers now, those are going to be held by Shokan. Well, now, hold on, Jared. Hold on now. You may do good with any team, but I don't necessarily think it's a true scheme fit for you, if that makes sense. But, anywho, without further ado, Chargers are going to be held by Shokan. Currently the Chargers, former Jags. He's going to really like this roster. Phillip Rivers, contrary to what the amazing GM and Bobby thinks, Phillip Rivers is going to be a good 1, 2, maybe 3-year starter until you can find some. He's 35, so he's going to play at least 5 years. We do regression fixes if he performs and gets those fixes, because we have a new system for it next year. Boom, you're going to get at least 2 good years out of him. Melvin Gordon's a nice young player. Same with Keenan Allen. Got some nice pieces around here. Former top 10 pick, Mike Williams in his second year. Hunter Henry's an athletic stud. Offensive line needs some work, for sure. But that defense, Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, Corey Luigi in the middle. Linebackers are a little suspect, but you have Denzel Perriman, Jatavis Brown, who are fast guys, and you can just use or cheese them. Corners, you have an amazing quartet. Hayward, Williams, Verrett, Desmond King, who I was really high coming out of college, seen him play when they came up to the University of Minnesota Stadium, watched him for basically all of his college career, phenomenal player. Derwin James, who I think might be the steal of the draft, falling to them at, 17, 18? Amazing piece. Jaleel Adai, solid. Slow, but he's a solid 1-year starter. So I just really like what the Chargers are doing here. Now, I think they're the 5th best division. Why? Right now they're missing a team, so that could change. And these guys are all 8 to 10 win guys. Now, Shokan has that pedigree of winning a Super Bowl, which is nice. But that Jags team was really unfair. So we'll see. The division, if, say, like a Widge or someone was in there, it'd probably be a top 3 division. Now we're going to the NFC East. Dow, starting off with Emmett. Emmett's been the, Cowboys user before I even got here 2 years ago. So he's been the Cowboys forever. Cowboy fan, so great fit. He's constantly a 12, 13, 14 win team. He's going to have another solid team to build up. A young Dak, a young Zeke. Receivers are kind of meh, but Allen Hurns can be worked up a little bit here. No tight end, which, whatever. But you got guys like Tyron Smith, Connor Williams. Oh, that's right. I forgot they got Connor Williams. Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Lyle Collins, Cameron Fleming. They got some depth on the O-line. Solid pass rushers. Linebackers are meh. Leighton Vander Esch is going to be a guy you can dev. Whether he turns out or not in the real world, you can dev him. And then, again, those young cheese developing guys in the secondary. So, yeah, just another cheese year for Emmett. Nothing new. Now, Washington, this is kind of a late switch, change of direction pick. Um, Redskins are going to be mounded by Schley, our favorite guy over there. So that's going to be something fun to look out for. Is Schley here? I like this team. You're going to be stuck with that Alex Smith contract, which is horrible. But you have Darius, was it Geis, Juice, Geis? And you got him. Jamison Crowder's fast. Paul Richardson, not bad. Josh Doxson, young developing guy. Jordan Reed's a really good tight end. And you have a solid O-line, a good left tackle, solid right guard, okay right tackle. But on defense, this is where I like him. You got a young guy, Matthew Ioannidis. There we go, Matthew Ion. A young Jonathan Allen. Then you're going to have a really young player as well in Deron Payne. So you got two young Bama guys up front. Ryan Kerrigan, Pernell McPhee, Zach Brown, Preston Smith. You're going to have fun with that pass rush that you can do. They're kind of versatile guys, so they can come at you, back up, etc. Secondary needs a little work, but you still have Norman. And then Monte Nicholson's a guy you can dev up. I really liked this team. This is a kind of a sleeper team, I thought, that could actually have a solid roster. It may take you a year, but I like the roster. Now to one of the most requested teams that really pissed me the hell off. And because of this team, there's actually going to be a couple of you that couldn't get assigned a team because you refused to give me anybody else besides like 4 guys. So, I guess, Giants are going to be held up by Young C Money, or Yingving C Money. I guess that's an Asian way of saying young. Been here most of the cycle. One of our high school dudes. Shout out. Don't know how this is necessarily going to be a fit. You have an old Eli Manning. You really don't have a quarterback to dev. You do have Saquon Barkley, which is why every single person wanted him. They wanted Saquon Barkley. I get it. He's going to be Madden cheese. But everyone knows after, 4 weeks, they tweak the sliders and running's broken anyways. But he got Saquon Barkley. Woohoo. You have OBJ, who's going to be a solid target. Sterling Shepard as well. Roger Lewis. Evan Ingram's going to be a nice cheese piece. They did improve their O-line a little bit. I got Nate Solder, Will Hernandez in the draft. Okay. Defense is a little shaky up front now in their front. You still have Snacks, but they lost JPP. You have Olivier Vernon coming off the edge. Alec Ogletree they traded for, which is going to be solid. You're going to have an athletic guy in the middle. Secondary, took a little bit of a hit losing DRC. But you do have Janoris Jenkins, who's solid. You have Landon Collins, who was a phenomenal player. And yeah, Giants, they're one of those teams you need a quarterback. Once you get a quarterback, you're good. So, we'll see. Now to the Eagles, everyone's favorite guy. This is going to be real quick and easy. It's going to be Bobby. Been here all cycle is the Broncos. Good fit for him, obviously, because he's an Eagles fan. Wentz is going to be a superstar dev, so you're going to have a young elite quarterback up on the rise. Jay Ajayi, if you wanted to keep Ajayi, you have a nice, solid, young running back for the whole cycle. But they also have a guy like Corey Clement. Donnell Pumphrey's, probably not, but he's a nice change of pace back that you have under a cheap contract. Receiver-wise, Jeffrey Aguilar. They did sign Mike Wallace, so they got a solid perimeter go-to guy. They have a guy in the slot, and then they have a deep threat burner. So, Marquise, they have depth. I like their receivers in Madden. Zach Ertz, Richard Rodgers, Dallas Goedert. Wow, he's really slow. Interesting. You got Jason Peters, an elite left tackle. You got Jason Kelsey, elite center. You got a really good O-line across the board. Really good front 4, for the D-line, very deep. Then your linebackers, Kendricks is a really fast guy. Hicks is a fast guy. Nigel Bradham, fast guy. They're just a really solid team. Now, secondary is where you need a little work. Ronald Darby, is probably the guy you want to build around. A really nice athletic corner. Now, I personally prefer Sidney Jones over Jalen Mills, but you can build around all of them. They're all under 24. And then you obviously have Malcolm Jenkins, who I think is probably one of the more underrated safeties in the game. That's just me. And then Jake Elliott, a young, good kicker. So this team is young, on the verge. Now, when all those contracts expire, it's going to be rough, but still a solid team. And Bobby will probably, with this team, be 4-2 or 4-12. So, yeah. And I think this is the 4th best division, which I think they could have been higher, but I went with 4th. So, that's the NFC East. Now we're going to the NFC South quick. We will start with the Falcons. Mr. Mad, the former commissioner, is going to have an elite quarterback in Matt Ryan. Great fit because he's a Falcons fan. 2 great running backs. Cheese. Austin Hooper. Solid O-line. He's going to need to dev that up a little bit. And then he's got a solid stable of young, athletic players on defense. This is one of those teams, again, where once all the contracts hit, you're kind of screwed, but still a great team to have. Now we're going to go to the Buccaneers. Trying to move through this a little bit faster. Jameis Winston's going to be a little tough. He's kind of struggled. I never was high on Jameis Winston, even when he came out of college. Thought he turned the ball over too much, and that kind of translated into the NFL still. So, yeah. Also, Austin Johnson totally looks like that dude from System of a Down, mixed with the guy from Skillet, I think. Looks hilarious. Anyways, Mike Evans. He's one of my favorite receivers in Madden. He catches everything. And he's the reason we get those giant, big receivers who are slow as bricks. They'd be like, oh, I'll just make them like Mike Evans. I'll give them an 84 speed and be like, hey, they're big. They can catch anything. O.J. Howard, Cameron Braid, I thought he left. Oh, well, maybe, no. Ooh, I don't know. Someone help me out where he is. Maybe I missed him. Anyways, O.J. Howard's the tight end you build around. They need a whole new O-line. Well, maybe not a whole new O-line, but basically 4 guys. They traded for JPP and and then they got Vinny Curry. Gerald McCoy, then they drafted Vita Vea. So this is actually going to be a pretty solid front 4. Those linebackers are solid, need a little work, but secondary is where you're going to have to pour. O-line and secondary is where you need to focus all your resources those first few years. Yeah, that's what you need. Carolina. I was looking for the C's. It's going to be held by not Schley anymore. D. Cooper was the Rams last year. It's got Cam Newton, solid player to build around. 1-2 punch and McCaffrey and Anderson. Oh, hey, thanks, Bobby. I did not know he re-signed with the Bucs. Wow, that's kind of an overpayment, especially when they just drafted a tight end in the first round. That makes no sense. All right, Bucs. You got DJ Moore from Maryland as a rookie. Torrey Smith, Devin Funchess, solid group of guys. Greg Olson, good player. Need a new O-line. That left side is pretty bad. I thought Julius Peppers retired. Oh well. But you need some pass rushers. So Carolina is not as solid as what they used to be. You got to really work up that corner, like the corner safety kind of area, the secondary, and then O-line. Last but not least, the New Orleans Saints, who had 1 or 2 people ask me for him. So, Narwhal is going to the New Orleans Saints. Great quarterback in Drew Brees, which underrated at an 88 overall. Insane he's that low. JT Barrett, I guess he could be a guy to dev if you really like Ohio State. Same with Taysom Hill. I don't know really. You're going to need to find a quarterback, and you don't have a first-round pick, so GG, have fun. Great 1-2 punch at running back that you can build your franchise around. Great young receiver. Tight ends are meh, but you can find a tight end. O-line's okay. You can build around Ryan Ramczyk, but you need to find a couple other guys in there. Pass rush is solid. Davenport, regardless of how he turns out and if it was worth trading up for him, you're going to have a young, athletic pass rusher who's fast, big, to cheese build. Then you have your solid D tackles. Linebackers are kind of meh, so you're going to have to work on linebackers. But corners, your secondary is solid. Lattimore returns. Patrick Robinson comes back from over in the Eagles. Ken Crawley, P.J. Williams, Marcus Williams, Von Bell even. Just a very young secondary you can build around. So I really like that. I think this is actually the 7th best division. You really have Mad and then a bunch of 6 and 10, 8 and 8 teams. So this is basically Mad's cakewalk year in the division. So GG. Next we have the AFC East. Start with the Jets. Kia, of course, is going to be handling the Jets. Season 2 and Season 3 Super Bowl winner. So it's obviously a great fit for him. He's finally got a quarterback to work who you're going to start immediately Season 1. Unless you're worried about stats, then you'll start Bridgewater for a year. But you have Isaiah Crowell, Bilal Powell, Thomas Rawls. You have a young stable of backs to kind of build around with Crowell and Rawls. Receivers, Robbie Anderson you can build around. Same with Enunwa. But you're going to need to add a playmaker. Need a tight end. Need to rebuild the O-line. You have an okay D-line. You need to rebuild the linebackers. Basically, this team's a total rebuild. You need basically everything except quarterback and maybe a safety. And then I guess you can build around Leonard Williams. But it'll be a rough year for Keel. It'll take him, I thought it would take him 2, maybe 3 years before he's a contender, but he did it year 2. So who knows with Kia? He'll probably take 1 year. And the Patriots returning in a shocking twist of things, not me, it'll be our good buddy old pal Spectre Bug. You're going to have a great quarterback year 1. Probably 2 years he's there, but then you'll need to draft and dev a quarterback. You'll have Sony Michel to build around at running back. Your receivers are kind of meh, but you can find young guys in the draft or trade for them or build around them. And then you have Gronk. Solid O-line. You have Isaiah Wynn, the rookie, a young Trent Brown, Joe Thuney, David Andrews, Shaq Mason. All these guys are under 25. So that O-line, you win 12 games this year, boom. Just like my O-line this year, they're going to explode. D-line is better than it was last year, but I hate Claiborne so much. Oh, I really do. Danny Shelton and Malcolm Brown are going to be 2 solid D tackles to build around, if you choose so. Hightower, and then linebackers are horrible. You're going to need to rebuild those. It's nice you got Jason McCourty, but yeah, you're going to need to, they're older, so you're going to have to retool. And then the Bills and Dolphins are both open as of right now. So, need some users for that. I have them as the 6th best division, mainly because Key and Spectre are in here. Now to the NFC West. Looking at the Seahawks. Rounder. They took a hit. They're going to be more of a rebuild, but they still have a great quarterback. They have a rookie running back, which will be nice to build around. They have a few pieces at receiver, but you're going to need to get someone else, Then that O-line is just horrendous. That D-line is pretty bad, too. You do have Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, but those corners are kind of bad. You do have the safeties, though. But this team is going to need some rebuilding fairly fast. So, we shall see. The Cardinals are going to be returned by Mark. He's got a quarterback to build around now. Josh Rosen, David Johnson, obviously. He's going to need some weapons. He does have Christian Kirk, but he was apparently arrested pretty soon, or not too long ago. Chad Williams, another rookie. So you have 2 nice young rookies to build around. This O-line is a dumpster fire. You're going to have to rebuild the whole, offensive line. Chandler Jones is a nice piece, but you need to otherwise fix your front 7. And then that secondary's okay, but you're going to need to retool them. So, I'm the Cardinals in my other league, so it's going to be fun. I guess the Rams now. The most requested team, which also pissed me off because everyone thought they could get the Rams. This one's going to Wonka. What a better person to ruin the frickin' Rams. They have Jared Goff. I guess he's... Wow, they don't have him rated that high. But he's going to be solid next man. Todd Gurley, elite young running back. You're going to have a stable of weapons. All under 25. Cooks, Woods, Cup, and then you can even, do some stuff with Farrell Cooper. Two young, athletic tight ends. O-line's okay. They're older. Your top guys are 35 and 29. And then 32 even. So it's going to be a tough thing to manage all this, especially when you look on your D-line. Brockers is solid. I think he's under contract. But you're going to need to pay Donald. You're going to need to pay Sue. You're going to need to pay Peters, Talib, Goff, Gurley, Cooks. It's a tough deal here. But then the linebackers are horrendous. I mean, that's going to be rough to deal with. The secondary is going to be good for year one, Talib and Peters, and then, Joyner, John Johnson, but those linebackers are just garbage. So that's priority number one, finding a linebacker. And then the 49ers, I will be the 49ers next year. I'm just kind of sick of the same kind of roster decisions every year that I have to do with the Patriots. So trying something new this year. You got Jimmy G, obviously. Running backs kind of bleh, but you do have Jerick McKinnon. Receivers need an overhaul, but you do have a guy like Trent Taylor and Dante Pettis to build around. George Kittle's an athletic cheese tight end. O-line needs some serious help, but you do have a cornerstone tackle to build around. D-line's going to be the cheese of this team. You have three really good young players on there, and Buckner, Thomas, and then Armstead. Linebackers, you have Reuben Foster to cheese build. Otherwise, really nobody. You have Sherman, but he's older, and your rest of your corners are garbage. And then, you have Jaquiski Tart to build around in the secondary, like deep, so your safeties. So, I have talent there, but I think this is going to be the third toughest division. You just got four really solid users there. Now, here we go. The AFC South. This is going to be the toughest division in the league. We will start with the Houston Texans, which are going to be returned by Wheezy. Deshaun Watson out the gate is going to be a solid superstar dev quarterback. Deontay Foreman, Lamar Miller. Hey, they finally brought down Lamar Miller's overall. Thank God. DeAndre Hopkins, elite player. Will Fuller, nice, young, fast player. O-line needs serious work, though. It's going to be a tough year one for him. You have J.J. Watt. DJ Reader's a young, great player, I think, in Madden. Then you have Merciless, Clowney, McCheesy, Cunning Cheese. And you got the good linebackers. And the secondary needs help. Not safety. They have Tyrann Mathieu. The corners need help, I should say. You need to do O-line and corners right away. But Wheezy's taking him over. Great fit, Texan fan. Jaguars are going to be held by Wookie Balboa. Wookie's a Jags fan, so excellent fit. Bortles is 3-year contract, I think, so you can probably dish him after 2 years, get rid of him. But he's still 25, so you can still develop him okay. Leonard Fournette, the receiving core is a little iffy, but they're young, so maybe you can dev them up. Austin Swearingen-Jenkins, same thing, young. And then their O-line got a little better when they signed, Brandon Linder. Or was it? Yeah, it was Norwell from Carolina that they signed. So you get how to tweak them a little bit, but the D-line is insane still. Fowler, Ngakoue, Campbell, Malik Jackson, Marcel Darius. And then they got Taven Bryan in the first round, the surprise pick of the draft for me. But, whatever, I guess. They're in the NFL GM in a team for a reason. And then you have Cheese Speed at linebackers. So, and then best corner tandem in the game, solid safeties. So it's going to be a fun team to watch kind of and follow. Now with the Titans, we have the infamous man who is waiting to play his first game in the league, Mr. Knisnagga. He's getting the Titans. He's got Marcus Mariota to build around. Fast quarterback, run a lot of option. Probably going to need a new quarterback, though. I'm not very high on Mariota. Good 1-2 punch. You got your power, Derrick Henry, your speed, and Deion Lewis. Corey Davis, Tywan Taylor, Tajay Sharp, going to be solid players to build around. Good tight end. Solid O-line. You have your tackle core to build around. You just need to find some interior O-line. Jarrell Casey's a solid, D-line. I guess front three. I guess they're a 50. Rashaan Evans is going to be a great young player to build around in your linebacking core. And then you have the Patriots secondary there, Butler and Ryan. Adoree Jackson, your nickel. It's going to be a really nice secondary. Kevin Byard, Jonathan Cyprien. It's a good one-year starter. And then you'll find someone else. But it's going to be interesting. And here we go. The most interesting pick to me. The Indianapolis Colts will be Playa. Playa is coming over from the 49ers. This right here is why it makes it the number one division for me. You're going to have Weezy and Playa in the same division. Weezy's going to have two quarterbacks. Does he want to stick with Luck, move from Luck, and work with Brissett? Otherwise, the running backs are whatever. But why this team was so appealing, I thought, for me personally, that O-line. Excuse me. You have Anthony Costanzo, whatever. He's a 1-2-year filler. Quentin Nelson, going to be the cheesiest deving player in the game. Then you have Ryan Kelly, who's going to be a nice developmental center. Then you got Braden Smith from Auburn, who's going to be fun to dev. And then Joe Hag, you can even dev. I've seen people dev him really nice. This O-line is going to dev like crazy, and you're going to have a shit ton of cap to work with. Pass rush is okay. You're going to need to rebuild the whole defense, but that's going to be an interesting team for Playa. Again, I think this is the best division in football with Wookie, Weezy, and Playa. It's going to be a tough division for whoever that Titans user is. And then are we already on the end? Yeah, last but not least, the NFC North. We will start with the Bears. Returning as the Bears owner is going to be Mukau. They're going to have a solid team to build around Trubisky. You got your 1-2 punch running backs. They got weapons in Taylor Gabriel, and then Allen Robinson. They brought in Trey Burton, who his contract's crazy, but he's athletic as hell. So maybe that O-line. They did get James Daniels from Iowa in the second round. Okay O-line, going to need to rebuild it a little bit. But that front four is going to be solid. Leonard Floyd and Aaron Lynch off the edge. Trevathan and Roquan Smith in the middle. Then you have guys like Akeem Hicks, Eddie Goldman to build around. They did get Fuller and Mukamara back. Bryce Callahan comes back too. Then you have two good safeties. You have Eddie Jackson, and then you have Adrian Amos. So it's going to be a really solid. This was a sleeper team. A lot of people requested him. On to the Vikings. We have, where are they? Oh, they're right behind. Roscoe Otis taking over the Vikings. It's going to be an interesting team with Kirk Cousins, if he turns out or not. You're stuck with him until his contract's done. So that's going to be iffy. You have a great young running back in Delvin Cook. Two great receivers. I love their receiving core. Phenomenal. You have an overrated Kyle Rudolph, and then you just have to rebuild that O-line. D-line, phenomenal. Brought in Sheldon Richardson. Already signed Everson Griffin. Athletic Danielle Hunter. Anthony Barr. Kendricks at linebacker. Then you have Rhodes. And then you not only had Mackenzie Alexander to dev up, you get Mike Hughes now with Trey Waynes, Xavier Rhodes, an elite, one of the 2 or 3 best Madden safeties, Harrison Smith. Then you get Sendejo, who I absolutely hate, but he's a good year one starter. So that's the Vikings. Green Bay now. We have Dr. Turtle going back to the pack. Now, this is a team, I I considered taking them in my secondary league because you have a good quarterback in Rodgers, an elite quarterback. You have a stable of young running backs who all do different things well. You have Devontae Adams to build around. I hate Randall Cobb. I wish they would have kept Jordy. So you're going to need to find some other receivers, but you have like Jamon Moore. You have what's his dick? I guess Vald Scantling. Is he a normal guy? But they have some giant, fast receivers on their team. They're young. They're really raw. Their overalls are going to be low, but they're going to be solid. You bring in Jimmy Graham. Good O-line. Okay, actually, O-line. You're going to need to get some pieces in there. Solid D-line. Kenny Clark's going to be 22 years old and is going to be like 90 overall. It's going to be insane to build around him. Then you're going to have Clay Matthews, Nick Perry, Blake Martinez, Jake Ryan. Corners are going to be nice because you're going to have two rookies to dev. And Jari Alexander, Josh Jackson. You still have Kevin King coming back. Tron Williams came back, so he might be a safety candidate for you. You got Clinton Dix, Josh Jones. So Packers, as long as you can develop that secondary, get a couple linemen, get a receiver, solid team. And then last but not least, the Detroit Lions. Going to be helmed or navigated from the helm by our boy DSK. DSK is going to have Stafford to work with. You're going to have Blunt year one, who's going to be a nice power back, but you also have Kerryon Johnson from Auburn, who's going to be a solid player. Receivers are good. I like their receivers, especially Kenny Golladay. Tight ends are going to be solid. You're going to have to rebuild that O-line, but you do have Frank Ragnow to work with that. D-line, pretty good D-line, I think. At least their edge rushers. Interior's kind of iffy. Same with their linebacking core. So you're going to need to rebuild their interior O-line, linebackers. But Lions are looking like a solid team. I'm surprised not as many people wanted them. And I think they're going to be the 8th ranked division. I think you got the collection of 7-9 to 8-8 users in here. But that concludes our team selection show. If you didn't have your name called, that just means you were one of those guys who had like 4 teams on your list that everyone wanted, and they had seniority over you. So the teams open are, let me read them here at the end. The Miami Dolphins, the Buffalo Bills, the Denver Broncos. Those are the 3 open teams. More could open. You guys are welcome to trade teams with each other if you really want to. Just let me know. Obviously, we're still focusing on 18 here, chugging along. People could drop for next year, but let's finish out the year strong, and then let's look forward to our Madden 19 teams. All right, I am out, guys. Take it easy.